For somebody who has never, ever heard of Dating Naked UK or the concept of the show, how would you sell it to them?
Love Island without the bikinis and me playing Cupid.
How far would you go to find love? 10 gorgeous singletons are about to test the very limits of dating. This is Dating Naked.
So I hadn't heard of the show before. Obviously, it's never been in our territories before. But Paramount Plus got in touch and we're like, look, we've got this idea and we'd like you to do it. And they told me the idea and I laughed because I was like, well, we can't do that. What are you going on about? And they went, look, they've done it in Germany. We're going to send you the German version. Just have a little look. And 10 minutes in, my eyes were bulging out of my head. I was like, what? You see everything. There's no blurring. There's no strategic camera angles with like a plant pot or anything like that. I was like, for real? Like, we can do this? But then after like 15, 20 minutes, I was like, I can't believe she's talking to him. I can't believe he's talking to her. And your brain just sort of switches a little bit and you're like, okay, this is normal. So for me, I was like, well, how are we going to do this? And they were like, well, it's 4 weeks in Colombia. I was like, let's do it. So, it was incredible. And we are so, so proud of the show that we've made. People being naked means they're a little bit more vulnerable and they're a little bit more open, weirdly enough, because they're in this scenario all together. So it sort of eliminates that I want to rip your clothes off and get you into bed. It's like, well, here it all is. And, they're not all clones of each other either. I don't know if you've seen it, but, we've got people of all different shapes, body sizes. Some of the girls' breasts are here, some of the girls' breasts are here, some of the girls' breasts are here, some of the boys' penises are this big, that big, in the middle. Every aspect of sort of the human body.
In the show, you are notably clothed.
I am. Sadly. I tried. They won't let me get it out.
But in the spirit of the show, do you have any wild dating stories from your past that involve maybe a sprinkle of nudity?
Oh, I mean, if the date ends up in nudity, it was a good date, in my eyes. Well, yes, actually, I do. I remember years ago, I'm talking years ago, I was on a date and I was invited to a party with someone and I was wearing like a grey trouser and everyone gets up and dances and you're like, yeah, let's have a little dance. And I danced and ripped from what's the correct terminology from the perineum to the top of the gluteal cleft, I believe is the correct terminology. And I had no underwear on.
Not?
Yeah.
What did you do?
There weren't really a lot I could do. Everyone saw my ass.
If you were just a lay person of the public, would you consider applying for Dating Naked UK now that you've seen how it works?
You've just hit the nail on the head. There is no way in a million years I would have applied for Dating Naked UK. But now I've seen it, I would. Because there's something about this show that as much as it's a bit voyeuristic and shock factor, they're all naked, I'm going to have a look, oh, look, there's that, there's this. Something actually really warm about it. The fact that you are naked and the fact that there's almost like a vulnerability, but not a bad vulnerability. It's actually a good one. Yeah, I would. I mean, if we get season 2, I've offered to host it naked. They're still saying no.
What was the craziest moment of filming for you?
Craziest moment of filming? I mean, there was one thing that happens in sort of episodes 6, 7, 8. All I'll say without spoiling anything is look out for heaven and hell. A twist that we had planned, that I was dressed for the occasion for. The fallout was bigger than we expected and changed the course of the rest of the season.
How involved are you with sort of thinking of the different twists and turns that...
Well, luckily enough, we've got like such an amazing crew, and they worked so hard on the show, and it's the first time we'd done it as well. So everything was sort of up for grabs. One thing we didn't want to do was meddle. We didn't want to meddle with people's relationships. We didn't want to be that show that runs in and goes, go and tell this one that, or, you should get with it. No, let them do it. So that was important to me. But what was lovely, it was very collaborative. The team were so great at the jobs, coming up with things and stuff like that. But when it came to it, we look at the then and now. And, the team from Paramount would be like, right, do you think this should happen? Should I don't know, should we throw someone in? Should we run? It's like, well, this could work or this might not work. And we'd plan and we'd plot. But until we do it, we have no idea what's going to happen. So we could throw someone new in, which exclusive, more people do go in. But how they go in, why they go in, and what way they go in, wait and find out.
And how does this show and the experience of filming it compare to the other shows that you've hosted in your career? Like, where does this rank?
This show is nothing like anything else I've done, but everything like everything else I've done. So the feel of working on that show that's real, that's collaborative, that's a big crew, you're all in it, and that you're all so invested in what's happening in this house or at the dumping ground or what's happening on a date or what's happening where we're all talking about it. That's a normal feeling to me. The show itself, until we actually have done it, flown home, it's all been edited and packaged up, I didn't realise, one, how good it would look. It looks beautiful. It's shot so well. Two, how great the datas are from stuff that I've not seen, whether that's in an interview, like in a diary room situation, or just having a chat in bed with someone that I might not be present for. It's special. It's the best way to describe it. I wanted to make my main priority is that the datas felt comfortable and I felt comfortable. And we did that within the first 5 minutes of the meeting.
Have you learned any lessons from the show that you're going to apply to your own dating life?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've realised that what you think you might want might not necessarily be the right thing for you. And sometimes, you know, on the show, I'd see people going, you know, he's very much my type or she's very much my type. But actually, it's another one that they've ended up with. And are like, oh my God, you're everything I want. So, yeah, I think we don't need to take everything on face value. And ultimately, it's what's underneath all this that matters, and then what's underneath that. And that was what I've took away from this, is that you don't need to judge someone just based on what they look like. Well, here's everything I look like. Now get to know me. And yeah, get to know someone really well. Yeah, so from now on, I only date naked.
It's been 12 years since you left the X Factor, and you've had such a wide-spanning career since then. Reflecting back now, how did you see your career looking at this point now, and does it look like how you thought it would?
Well, I didn't know I'd still be here now. I didn't know I'd still be working in this industry, let alone hosting shows. I'm where I should be. I'm exactly where I should be. I'm a firm believer in there's a reason I'm sat here now. I've worked hard to get to where I am. I'm very lucky at the same time. But I think what the sort of last 3-4 years have taught me is that anything can change at any minute. So yeah, just not worry about tomorrow and enjoy today. That's how I live my life now.